Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about top 5
best kayak fish finders.
Starting at number 5.
Dakota Lithium 12V10A. The best fishing kayaks are already heavy, so adding a battery will only add to that weight. To keep your kayak as light as possible, you can use a lithium battery, which is typically half the weight of cheaper lead-acid batteries. The best kayak fish finder battery I've used is the Dakota Lithium 12V10A, which gives me plenty of power to run a fish finder all day. After I'm done fishing, I plug it into a charger, and it's ready to go by the next morning. They are more expensive, around $100, but they're good for 2,000 cycles and carry an 11-year warranty. For efficiency, longevity, and weight, I haven't found anything that beats the Dakota Lithium batteries.
Coming at number 4.
Garmin LiveScope Plus. If you want to build a tournament-ready fishing kayak, then you'll be looking at premium accessories like a torpedo motor and LiveScope. Both will help you catch fish more efficiently and step foot on the podium. But that advantage doesn't come cheap or without some specialized rigging. Typically, a LiveScope transducer mounts on a boat's trolling motor, and you can pan the sonar by turning the trolling motor. On a kayak, that's not easily done. Most anglers using LiveScope or other live sonar will mount the transducer on a rotating arm. In addition to that specialized mount, you might also want to consider having 2 screens on your kayak, one for LiveScope and one for mapping and side/down imaging. The added electronics, of course, means more power and smarter cable management. But if you're willing to put in the time and effort to rig your kayak properly, you'll have a fish-catching machine.
At number 3.
Humminbird Helix 7. Rick Burnley fishes for a variety of saltwater species in the waters near Virginia Beach. I went a lot of years without a fish finder just because they were too much of a pain in the neck, he said. But fish finders have come a long way. Burnley now rarely fishes without his Helix 7 mounted on his ocean kayak Trident 13. I love the side scan for speckled trout fishing, he said. You can see schools of speckled trout, find grass beds, and structure. It's also almost essential for our spring big red drum fishing. To use his Helix 7 to find big drum, Burnley will paddle around looking for schools of bull reds on the side imaging. The side imaging shows what's happening 125 feet on either side of the boat, and it allows anglers to quickly cover water. You need to become an expert on reading the side scan and what different marks represent. But when those drums show up on there, it's very obvious, he said. Burnley owns other fish finders with side scan, but he thinks the Humminbird's contrast and detail is the best.
Number 2 of my list.
Humminbird Helix 5. The Helix 5 Sonar G2 was the first kayak fish finder I bought, and I still use it on my Jackson Mayfly. If you have an old town or ocean kayak, mounting the transducer is easy, and the cable will pass right through the scupper. On a kayak like the Mayfly, you can DIY a mount or use the Yak Attack switchblade transducer arm. The 5-inch screen is large enough to clearly see bottom contour and structure detail, but small enough that it is out of the way. You'll navigate the menus and adjust settings using the keypad, which isn't as fast as a touchscreen, but it's less likely to fail on you. The imaging is pretty basic, but you have to adjust your expectations when going to a budget fish finder. I use this unit just to know how deep the water is, find hard pieces of structure like rocks, and find drop-offs. I don't rely on it for detecting anything subtle or reliably marking bait. But, for a lot of fishing, those basic functions are all I need.
And number 1.
Lowrance Elite FS. I don't always use a fish finder while kayak fishing, especially when I'm fishing shallow water, but the times I do need one, they're absolutely critical to my success. I've been using my Elite FS7 for summer crappie fishing, which is difficult because the fish move constantly, chasing schools of baitfish. So the hard part is finding them and staying with the school. I have the 3-in-1 transducer and primarily use the down scan for summer crappie. I'll pedal my Old Town Sportsman big water PDL around likely areas like submerged brush piles until I find a school. Then I'll drop my jig down until it hangs in their face.
Check out this video description for latest price and more informations. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned.